beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about eyeshadow palettes because we love eyeshadow palettes on this channel, and I was thinking about doing this for 3 different categories of my collection. So when I think of my eyeshadow palettes, I think of neutral palettes, colorful palettes, and grungier palettes. So today we're going to start out with the grungy palettes because I did this like really weird look. Probably should have whitened my teeth, but I have like a wisdom tooth growing in. My teeth are sore, I didn't want to mess with it, but anyways, today we have a grungy palette collection video for you. I don't know if these are all of them. These are just ones that I think of in my collection that are grungier palettes and what I think. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, before we get started, all makeup on this channel is cruelty free, so the products I'm talking about in today's video. And today's video is sponsored by WAHS Studio. So I've talked about them, oh gosh, maybe it's been like 2 years. It's been a long time since I talked about them on my channel, but you know I love candles. And they now have candle warmers. So if you see this little cute little fireplace in the background, they have new wax melters. And I got the scent Coconut Palm because I love like a nice light yet kind of tropically sweet smell for the daytime. So they have really cute wax warmers. This one looks like a fireplace, which I think is super cute. Every wax melt dissolves evenly. And one of the reasons we're talking about them today is they partnered with the Humane Society. So a minimum of 10% of all profits from these purchases are going to the Humane Society, which is really, really cool. You can also use my code Porcelain20. It is still valid on their website. But if you buy a wax melter, you get some free wax melts. Again, you can get the Coconut Palm, which I highly suggest. And if you haven't tried their candles or their wax melts before, they're very strong. So you only need like one little, I put 2 little wax melts in mine just because I like a strong smell. But this will fill up your entire house. They're very strong candle scents, so you don't have to worry about not smelling it throughout the day. And they're just really nice quality. So thank you WAHS Candle Studio for sponsoring today's video. Check them out in the link top description box. And let's move on to the grungy palettes. Alright guys, so first palette is the one that went to my mind first when I thought of this. The Alien palette by Jeffree Star. I love this palette. Alright? I didn't love it that much when it came out. I was like, oh yeah, it's good quality, fun. But now I'm really into this color scheme a lot more than I was originally. The packaging with the bulky eyes and the weird shape and huge, hate the packaging. But the colors in here, they're so fun. For me, when I think of a grungy palette, I'm not just thinking of things that have tons of dark greens, tons of dark purples, or tons of blacks in it. To me, it's the overall aesthetic that also has like some fun colors to it too, because it's not always darkness. But I love this. I just feel like this shade right here is so unique. It's called Probe. It's like a green, black, red, weird thing. We're used to the brown, green shifts, but this one's just so unique. I feel like the formula in here is very soft, very easy to use. I've almost hit pan on this Area 51 dark purple shade because my hair is purple. I use it for my eyebrows to make it match my hair. And honestly, this Martian Soul shade too, which is like a gold, super fun to make kind of mustardy, especially when you mix it with like one of these brown shades, which I think I use X-Files usually. These 2 shades, you could also use like the gray and stuff, but these 2 shades make a really cool like mustardy gray look on your eyes. Super fun, and the formula of this is absolutely amazing. I just wish the packaging wasn't as big and bulky and as irritating as it is, but I love the color scheme inside this palette. So this is the first one. Has to go first because I really like it more than I ever thought I was going to. Let's go ahead and do the rest of the Jeffree Star palettes I picked out. So next up, probably surprising actually, I picked the Minibreaker palette. Now, if you hid this pink shade right here, to me that's pretty grungy. I mean, the orange could be debatable as far as that, but other than the pink in here, I feel like you can get some really cool grungy looks at it between the purple, the mustardy, goldy, yellow shades, this dark gray, brown. It's kind of a mix between a gray and a brown because it's a very, very cool tone. But I just feel like this is awesome. Like, it doesn't look too grungy. If you cover the pink, it does. To me, I just think this is a really cool grungy palette. Like, if I wanted to do a cool, colorful, grungy eye look, I would totally do this. And I'm going to stop saying the word grungy so much. And I know people are going to disagree with me on these picks. They're going to be like, that's not grungy enough, blah, blah, blah. Personal preference and what I think I can do with my face, especially because I wear giant lashes half the time, or a certain lip color. Personal preferences, but I really think this one is. I think it's really cool. The other, like the big Jawbreaker palette, is a lot of neon, a lot of bright colors. This one has some more of like the off tones, and I kind of like that about it. But I never use this. I need to break it out more. I forget I have it half the time. The last Jeffree Star palette, the Conspiracy palette, which I think we all saw coming. Packaging, 10 out of 10, stunning, gorgeous. Bulky, yes, but I'm kind of used to trunk cases now. Now that he has like a hexagon palette coming out, I'm like, what? How am I going to store that? But, this palette. I love all the neutrals in here, like the top row I adore, and this ranch shade for the highlight, do not even get me started. but this palette is just so fun. I love the miscellaneous, like a lot of these colors do go together. There's always something you can match to something else in this palette. There's no color in this palette that seems out of place to me, maybe other than yellow, but I feel like even though it's a very random color story, it kind of works, and I quite enjoy it. And I really love the orange shade in this palette and the ranch shade. Like this one and this orange shade, such good quality. Like, I really like it. I need to try more of the darker shades in here because I usually stick to the neutrals in the top row, but lovely. Next up, I want to throw in two affordable options here. So the first affordable option is straight up black palette, black and gray palette, but it is the Smoke Show palette by Colourpop. It's so cool to look at. Like, it looks like I put a filter over this palette, and that's my favorite thing about it. Like, it looks like there's a filter on this palette in the video. It's creepy and cool as crap, and I love this palette. I used it the other day to do like a really, like a light gray kind of smoky-ish look, and I really enjoyed how the shimmers performed on the lid with just a finger. It was very, very smooth, and it blended into the grays in my crease really nicely. So I do enjoy these. I do feel like it doesn't stay black, like the Black Suns palette don't stay black on the eyes. But for an affordable $12 palette, this is a great affordable option if you want something that's just gray. I know Makeup Revolution has like a 50 Shades of Grey palette too. I know it's just a color book, but it's like 50 shades of one color. If you're interested in that one too. I've looked at it in the store. It looks really fun, especially being matte on one side and shimmer on the other. But when I saw it on Try Mood's page, I didn't really get it. But flipping through like the color story books, like the color books in Ulta stores to see how they look, really interesting how they did that. The other affordable palette is the Come As You Are palette by Carroty. Not one I reach for all the time, but it is a really good like color palette without being super dark. I feel like it has a great option of colors in here for an affordable price, and Carroty is now available at some CVS's, which I think is really cool. And I love the greens in here. For me, it's the greens, like the green shimmers, the green mattes. They're just really nice. And whereas the yellow isn't my favorite yellow in the world, the shimmers apply really great with a finger, and the mattes are nothing to complain about. So good option. And I love the Nirvana song name of the palette. It's great. Okay, so a limited edition palette I wanted to mention really quickly is the Makeup Monsters. I think it's called Menagerie now, but I don't know if this palette is still available. This is the Dragon Child palette. It's very, very messy. I just stole Adam's makeup bag, but I can't talk. And the other one that I love, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I consider a grungy color scheme. Some people think it's like a beautiful gold color scheme. It's the Goddess palette by Alter Ego, a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold. You can use code Porcelain on this and save some money, but it's already really affordable. Oh, it's so pretty. It's my most used Alter Ego palette. I would never even buy the Natasha Denona one because this one's so beautiful. I just love the mustardy shades in here. There's a lot of like light browns in here, so I don't know if people would count this as a grungy palette. But for me, the greeny tinted golds and the dark blues in here, absolutely perfect. I love this one more than most palettes on this video. We have some good ones next. So this, people are going to argue with me that this is not a grungy palette, but you can make it one, and it is the coolest packaging in the world. The Moonspell palette by Lunar Beauty. This is still the most gorgeous packaging I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, bury me with this palette. Ugh. Let's spell. I can't even deal with it. So this is the color scheme on the inside. It's very light compared to what I was expecting it from the packaging on the palette. However, the colors in here are just so cool. Like, I appreciate that this green in here is kind of mossy. Honestly, it's not as light as it shows on camera, but you are being against studio light, so it comes off really bright. Maybe back here it looks darker. That's kind of actually how it looks in real life. But up here it just gets washed out. So that's how it looks, really. But it's still a pretty light color scheme. However, there's just so many fun colors in here. I feel like the shimmers in here are not just really bright shimmers or really dark shimmers. They're still colorful in-between colors, which I love because a muted shimmer on the lid can sometimes just make every look super effortless and beautiful. So, beautiful palette packaging. Love the color scheme. Cannot get enough of this. Like, I could look at this all day and be super happy about it. Next up, this palette's overpriced, but if you spend this much money on this palette, you probably wouldn't be disappointed because the formula is like beautiful. Unless you're like a super beginner, it does take some getting used to how much product and how much pigment is picked up on a brush. Like, it looks like you have a little bit of powder on the brush, and it really does go a long way. It's very pigmented. So it does take a little bit getting used to if you're not used to working with really soft shadows. But the Gemini palette by Melt, Okay, so I put a little bit of green in this look today. Oh god, it's on my lid. There's just a little bit of green thrown in here. I'm scared to do really, really green looks with this hair color because I'm like, what if I look like a Christmas tree? But I love green looks. So, the Gemini palette. Look at her. Look how beautiful she is. I love these light neutrally shades, but they're super like not your basic neutral cool tone brown. They have like this nice yellow to them. Like I just love the weird hue, the weird undertone of these neutrals that are kind of like a mustardy shade. These greens are so beautiful and mossy, and they're not like a neon, they're not like a dark green, they're somewhere in between, which is really unique to me. This shade right here, Mochi, such a weird like yellow green, which mixes really well with the greens or the neutrals in this palette, which I appreciate dearly. And the matte black right in the middle, really easy to work with. I don't think I'd like this palette as much if it was more shimmers. It's very matte heavy. I think we have, yeah, it looks like we only have two shimmers in here. That's really cool. And I love it for that because you have a neutral shimmer, you have a green shimmer. That's the kind of palette this color scheme is, that's the kind of palette color scheme we have going on here. And I'm so glad it's matte heavy, not shimmer heavy on this palette, because you don't need more than 2 shimmers in here. And it's just so good. Like, hello, beautiful, that's you. This palette, love it. Since we just talked about the look I'm wearing today, let's talk about the one that I have on my eyes right now. I've had this on for a long time. I got distracted by Shane's new video, so I had to. I got distracted. I've been wearing this for a while. But this is the Born to Run palette by Urban Decay. I decluttered this once and I bought it again because now it fits my color scheme more. And this is a lot of like iffy reviews on it, but I personally like it quite a lot. I wish it had 1 or 2 different mattes in here, like as far as brown mattes, there's either like a really sandy shade or a really dark one, so. But I really love this color scheme. I feel like there's so much you can do with it. It is like, what color do I want to put on my lid today? I know I'm going to buff like a brown shade or like a really dark, maybe black and brown combo or an orange shade over my crease. That's not the question because the crease shades are pretty standard in this palette. It's what kind of pop of color do I want to throw in here? Do I want to throw just a regular thing on the lid? Do I want to pack some color under my lower lash line with this palette? Like, this palette color scheme is like, what kind of weird color combination what kind of color combination do I want to make today? And I'd never know because I feel like when I open this palette, I changed my mind about how my look's going to look for the day, and I liked it a lot. I do also like that there's only 1 purple in here because I feel like with these pinky shades, you don't need another purple, but I'm glad we have different variations of blue and green. So I don't think the purple was needed in here, but as long as it's only 1, I feel like it's okay. Because with the pinks, you don't need too many purples. The purple feels out of place for me, but since it's only 1, who cares? But it looks great. It's a great palette. The mirror on this is fantastic too. And lastly, my last pick is really awkward to store, but it's the Glam Light Veggie Lovers Pizza Palette. It's a pizza slice. So this is the color scheme. Told you I'm into greens. Love this. For me, my favorite things in here aren't even the greens. It's this gold shimmer. Like, not my favorite matte yellow formula in the world, but honestly, the shimmers in here are just stunning to work with. Like, all the shimmers, but I really love the yellow because I love yellow eyeshadow. But these shimmers are like beautiful. If you put them on with your finger and you slide it over, it looks like wet. Like when you finish your look and set your face, it looks wet on the lid. It's beautiful metallic gorgeousness. And it's super, super smooth with a finger. You do get some fallout with the mattes in this palette, but this color scheme is everything. Like, it's everything. It was so worth getting that, like, I don't know what holiday it was when I bought this, like the mystery box, and I got the Meat Lovers palette and this palette in here. This is the one I wanted. I'm so glad I got it because it's just lovely. Wish I hadn't stuck my finger in that garlic shade when I first got it because I know there's a huge dent in it. But it's a great palette. Super, super cute. So I highly recommend it if you have the storage for this really tall, awkward shape. Anyways, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little fireplace in the background today. It looks very cute. I'm going to probably move it, though, because I don't have a plug back there that's convenient not to see a little cord and stuff. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.